Reddit, what's that story you've never been able to tell? In 6th grade, we had this paper we had to write. I forget what the subject was. I decided to procrastinate a lot. Then the day it was due rolled around, and I had nothing. We had to read our papers out loud in front of the class. I was totally prepared to take the 0, but then I realized he wasn't actually taking the papers we used. So I decided to go up to the front of the class with a blank sheet of paper, and improvise. I ended up getting an 80. Crazy shit, bro. In the 7th grade, we were assigned to read any non-fiction book and write an essay about it. My dumbass forgot, and in a stroke of genius, improvised a whole ass book out of thin air. Characters, author, plot, it was all made up. I got a 95 on that assignment. That was the peak of my life. Dude, this is a sign. Write the goddamn book. Damn, I didn't even get this from the story. Good call. Totally right that you still have the paper op. Yeah, I mean you can keep a journal and just write stuff. That's how all the writers begin. Nothing big but just from the heart and improvising. David Lynch paints in his free time. He told a story in an interview once about how he would have these dreams where he'd be in an art gallery full of paintings and he'd be angry that he hadn't painted them. He said it tormented him for years before he realized that his brain was creating the images. They were his ideas, he just had to paint them. This story is like that one. When I was just a boy, I was touched when I was getting my hair cut. My father had to make a quick run to the ATM. So we were alone. I never realized it affected me that much and honestly didn't even think about it for years until I drove by the place where the barbershop used to be and just felt immense stress. I would never tell my father. He has always been insecure about whether or not he's been a good father to me. This would make him hate himself. You don't have to tell your dad if you don't want to, but a counselor or someone else you could share the burden with might make you feel better. Much love to you. Oh boy. I'm in a very similar boat. I was molested for years by a trusted teacher, not a school teacher. But I'll keep it vague. Kinda suppressed it for a few years before I realized how it might have fucked me up long term. Currently trying to save money for a therapist. I can't ask my grandparents, who paid for the lessons, or my parents, who were very supportive of the activity he was teaching. They'd be devastated. I didn't want to tell anybody then, because I didn't want to be the kid that got molested. Now I hate myself because I know he had to have done it to other kids and I didn't come forward. He committed suicide a few years ago, and it was some BS reason about his GF breaking up with him. I hope someone blackmailed him into it, the piece of shit. Lots of therapists offer sessions on a sliding scale. RAIN, an organization that supports victims of sexual violence, also has a hotline and online chat if you need someone to talk to. Thank you for the suggestion. I will look into those options after I move in a month or two. In 7th grade one night I was like, I really don't feel like going to school tomorrow, so I looked up how to get a fever. I found a tutorial that said to take a bath at the hottest temperature your bathtub will go, and then stay up all night. I decided to try it and I started the water for a steaming hot bath. It stung to get in it, and I somehow survived it for 30 minutes. When I was getting out I felt dizzy and then I fell on the floor and had a seizure. I woke up and saw the blinding ceiling lights of the bathroom and the first thing I thought was, am I dead? And then I threw up in the toilet next to me and had a migraine for the night. And later found out I got first-degree burns. So long story short, don't do that. Did you go to school the next day? No. Not for a week. So, success. If a plan is stupid and it works, then it's not stupid. If it's stupid and it doesn't work, you use something from the book. If it's stupid and it works, it goes in the book. The book is just a collection of stupid ideas that ended up working. My mom probably has factitious disorder. She used to gather my siblings and I together to announce she has insert cancer or deadly disease here and then make us cry and hug her. She has ruined so many of my major life events to rant about herself and all of her illnesses. I haven't called to check in on her with everything that is going on because I do not want to hear her hours-long spew of disease and sickness because I always think she is lying. She may actually be at serious risk of death from COVID-19 and I still don't want to hear her talk about it. She could die and I think I would feel relief. Edit, my mom has never been officially diagnosed with any mental illness. I don't mean to sound like an armchair psychologist. She thinks psychology is nonsense and refuses to seek help. She has purposely hurt herself for attention and she is or was heavily addicted to painkillers for a long time now. Sounds like your mother has one of those disorders where they thrive off the attention gained from feigning illnesses? Munchausen's? Unfortunately for factitious disorder, there's no known intent behind the fixation on fake symptoms and illnesses. As far as we know so far, these people make things up for no reason and receive nothing from it. That's actually quite interesting, as there would be no obvious driving force behind why they would want to continue that behavior. Yes. It is fascinating. There are other somatic disorders that do have an attention-seeking basis, but this one, in particular, doesn't have a motivation. The cause for a lot of these is usually some sort of early childhood trauma or loss that the patient has forgotten but is still actively coping with subconsciously. I have this online friend. I learned through Reddit's front page there's a tornado in his area. He completely went offline since that day. I thought he got hurt or worse. He's shared with me his full name and town before. Coincidentally, on Googling I was able to find out he's alive because he was mentioned in an article. His neighbors died though. He lost his PC during what happened, and he doesn't have a smartphone. Power of the internet saved me a lot of anxiety. Edit: we did speak once since this happened. He was able to message through his friend's PC. We only have contact through Discord. I have a similar story. As a kid I was part of a program where you could be pen pals with soldiers stationed abroad. We exchanged emails back and forth sporadically for a few months and then she stopped responding completely. I sent a few emails to check in on her and never got a reply. 7-year-old me forgot about it after a while. Later my teacher told my mom the soldier died while overseas. Aw, that sucks. I'm sure your company meant a lot to her. Maybe. At the time I thought she just stopped responding because I was boring or annoying her. My boyfriend did a lot of pen paling when he was deployed. He said the best letter he ever got was about a child thanking him for keeping Duck Dynasty on the air. I'm sure your correspondence made her day. I started doing one of those 5K running apps. On this app, the trainer is named Erin. She coaches you through each training session. I've never been a runner and now can do a solid 5K. But anyway, Erin told me that I've got to have a mantra. Something I can repeat to myself when I want to give up. Her mantra is "You're strong, Erin. Be strong." I could never come up with anything better, so now my mantra is "You're strong, Erin. Be strong." My name isn't even close to Erin, but it doesn't feel right using my own name at this point. I'm surprised how often I want to give up on things and automatically think "You're strong, Erin. Be strong." Edit: guys, I am so overwhelmed and touched by these replies. Gold and silver and wholesome? Oh my. We are all strong Erins. So, if it makes you feel any better, I have a similar thing for urinals. I used to get stage fright and not be able to pee if other people were in the bathroom at the same time. I read something online and I started saying in my head, "This is my toilet, I can piss where I want." Similar principle in that the toilet isn't actually mine, but it works if I ever need it. Occasionally there'll be someone next to me and I'll not hear a pee noise. I often wonder if I should share my tip or if it would super creep them out. You should just start saying it out loud. This is my toilet. There are many like it, but this is my own. Without my toilet I am nothing. I've told this on Reddit before but never in person. So I was at a water park with a girl I had a huge crush on and some of our mutual friends. I'm not a big fan of rides. She had been trying to talk me into going on one all day, and I finally agreed to try out this one really intense looking slide. Basically you go down the slide while sitting on this big inflatable thing. And it was for 2 people, so naturally I got paired up with the girl I had a crush on. We both climbed into the inflatable, which had these little handles on it for you to hold on to when you went down. When we went down the slide, it was way faster than I thought it would be. I accidentally let go of one of the handles, tried to grab it again, and ended up grabbing her hand instead by accident. I was really embarrassed, but she put her other hand on top of mine until we reached the bottom. I guess she thought I was scared, which is also kinda embarrassing. But it was a nice moment. She later went on to be my first kiss about 6 months later, and we're still close friends today. That's so nice. This was a good story. At first I was like, oh no. But then I was like, this was a good story. Troy. The time my mum needed to go back into the house to get a scarf. Because of this we were held back and missed a bus by 10 seconds. That bus then crashed into a bridge at very high speed because the bus driver had mental health problems. It is the closest I have ever been to death. I will never complain about my mum going back to get a scarf in my life again. Holy shit, that is insane. Sometimes you just make it by the skin of your teeth, I guess. You have skin on your teeth? Oh man, my day is ruined. Don't you bite your chapped lips? Don't you attack me like this. Here I am, surfing Reddit instead of working, biting my chapped lips, and you make me read this? Oh god, you're me. I, also, have been personally attacked. I nearly died at work. I was removing the main supply, 200 volts, 3P, wire on the machine we just successfully overhauled. The problem is, I wasn't aware that the main circuit breaker was still turned on. I already had the gut feeling to check the breaker, but I was stubborn and proceeded to remove the wires. As I removed the second wire, I accidentally short-circuited it, creating a huge spark right in front of my eyes. First thing I did was to check my hand, which was thankfully unharmed but had visible dark spots due to the strong electric current on the short-circuiting of the wires. Good thing I was half-conscious and went on to turn off the main circuit breaker. Some of my workmates saw and approached me while asking if everything was alright. After removing the wire, I took a walk and had a deep thought what might happen to me if those wires touched me. I might have suffered a severe third-degree burn, or lose a limb, or died from electrocution. Folks, always be careful and always trust your gut feeling. No lockout tag-out procedure in your country? There is, but I was the one who's supposed to put it on. This is why you don't skip lockout. Seriously, take care of yourself and others. Seeing someone die because of a preventable accident isn't fun. Yeah, I think that's kind of his point. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you have a similar story, share it in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more. Have a great day, or night.